Hello, this video I will be making the FNAF 2 mask. You hover on this button and it animates a mask over your head. The animatronics will avoid you if you have the mask on. To start, we need to import a mask model. Add a folder and find a Freddy mask model to add here. I am using the same one from my Freddy animatronic. I can disable materials since I already have a Freddy material that I can reuse. Open it and give it a material like Freddy. Next, open up your player character. In your viewport, you can add the static mesh here, but first add a scene component. We are going to use this scene component to animate the mask going up and down. I am going to give it a start location. Only the X will be 18. The rotation of the Z will be -90. Now the scale depends on your mesh. You want to make the mesh big so the mask covers your whole camera. Next we add the static mesh. Make sure your static mesh location is correct. Set it to 0. Also put the Z at 64. I do so the rotation animation works. Select the Freddy mask. Importantly, set collisions to no collision and disable the above settings with it. Finally, make sure at the start the mask is not visible. Back in the event graph, create a custom event. Call it update mask. Add a Boolean input. This will be called mask on. Drag from the input and promote it to a variable. This is also called as mask on. The code I am about to do is similar to the recent flashlight tutorial up here. While that tutorial is not necessary, I am going to still call functions from that tutorial for anyone that did it. Next, call update lights. Now add a branch. The condition will be the isMaskOn variable. Now we do the animating. Add a timeline node. Call it like mask animation or wear mask. Double click it to open this graph and you can change the length to 0.2 seconds. Now click on add float track and call it alpha. Right click and add a key. Time will be 0 and value is 0. Then add another keyframe and the time is 0.15 or 0.2 and set the value to be 1. You can click on these buttons to zoom to show the whole timeline. Alpha goes from 0 to 1, which is why the values are those. You can drag and select all the key points and right click to get auto, which creates a smoother transition. Back in the graph, you can get the scene component. Drag from it and call set actor location. You can call a lerp vector node to choose a start and end point. Connect the lerp alpha to the timeline alpha. The start vector is what was put earlier, so 18. I experimented with the end values and got X as 18 and Z as -95. Next, get your static mesh on finished and we can set visibility here and use the isMaskOn. Now I made an error as the visibility would hide the animation. Later I fix it. Now get your animation timeline and drag from it. Play and the reverse nodes. Connect those nodes to the branch. Compile and save. Now if you have a flashlight system, I want to make it so the flashlight can't be used if mask is on. Add a branch and add the isMask variable. Now connect the update lights function to false. Now we do the widget. Open the player widget and here we add the button to hover. I am going to use a horizontal box so the buttons are automatically straight and same size. Make sure the Z order is 2, you want this above all the widgets. Anchor it to the bottom and set position as 0. Change the scale to fit 2 buttons. I set alignment to 0.5 so it is centered in the middle. I set the Y to 1.5 to raise it up. Drag the button into the box. Set the button to fill so it takes up the whole box. Copy and add another button to your box. This is the mask button. Change the color of it. Scroll down to the green buttons and select on hovered. This is similar to the security cameras, so we do need interfaces so we don't have to cast to player. Go to your player blueprint interface. Add a function called getIsMaskOn. This needs an output boolean. This will get our mask variable we created earlier. Next, we need another function called setMaskOn. This needs an input boolean called isMaskOn. Back in the player class, make sure your interface is in class settings. On the side, you should also have functions. For getMaskOn, get your variable and link it to the return node. Next, right-click the setIsMaskOn function and click on Implement. This is simply calling our updateMask function. We can connect the inputs together. Compile, and now we can use these functions in our UI. Get your player pawn and call get in camera mode. Additionally, add a branch. This acts as a switch to make sure that the mask doesn't work if we are on cameras. It switches between mask and camera. From the player, find set in camera mode and it will disable it. Now get isMaskOn and connect it to the false and the camera mode. From the player pawn also get setIsMaskOn. Connect it, and we can simply just add a not boolean from the get to the input. This not boolean acts as a flip-flop. We now want to do the same for our camera hover. Make some space. Get player pawn, and get isMaskOn. Add a branch. On true, you can get setIsMaskOn and disable it here. Now connect both to the camera code. Compile. Now I am going to quickly fix the hover error. Go to your button and check carefully that you pressed the on hovered button and not on clicked. I am replacing this one. Now compile and test. Check if you can hover and get mask. Now I want to fix the animation. This set visibility is hiding that. First delete this variable. Make some space and disconnect the set visibility. From on finished, we want a branch. From timeline, this alpha, we can check if it is less than or equals to 0. This is the start point, which means it should be hidden at the start. Copy the set visibility and you can paste up here after the play node in update mask. Make sure you tick visibility to true. Now I want to make sure AI interacts with this feature. Go to your AI controller. Find where your jump scare check code is. You probably have a branch that checks if door is open. An alternative is that we can get player pawn, get our mask on, get the not boolean and then connect that to a branch. If our mask is not on, we can go to the jump scare code on true. If our mask is on, we can just set that to false and ignore jump scare. Make sure that your custom event is connected to the code. I am ignoring the door check for now. Now test the game and it should work. The animatronics should not jump scare you if you are wearing a mask. I hope you enjoyed this video and consider subscribing and sharing. See you next time.